All right, welcome to Unwrapping the Dumpling, where we unwrap the stigma around mental health in the Asian community. So my name is Tim. I am a third year, also a first year transfer, and majoring in psychology. And some aspirations, I kind of want to go to pursue a PsyD after I graduate and hopefully to have my own practice in the future. And I'll have everyone introduce themselves as well.
I'm Shane. I'm a second year math applied science major. And as for aspirations, I'm not sure.
And that's okay.
That's
Completely okay.
Hi guys, I'm Jocelyn. I'm a fourth year cognitive science and communications major. Like Tim, I also want to go into clinical psychology, but maybe the PhD route instead of the PsyD route.
God, she likes
And
research.
Yes, I do. And I also want to open a clinic. Like
Oh,
Tim.
yes.
Mhm.
Awesome.
My name's Bryan. I'm a third year. I'm a third year, first year transfer as well. I'm a sociology major. My goals right now, I'm trying to do pre-law, and then specifically more family law.
We love that. That's awesome. Well, today we really want to dig into it, as this is kind of our part two of our podcast. We kind of want to dig into some of the barriers that are preventing a lot of people from going to mental health care, and specifically, Asian in our community. So one of the biggest things that I've come across during my research is really the costs of a PsyD or a PhD degree. Just like Jocelyn and I want to go into those specific fields. So just so you know, we're going to be paying anywhere between $93,000 to about $129,000 for that degree. Granted, I think some PhD programs or a lot of them are actually funded through whether I think TAing or research. PsyD, on the other hand, most of them are not funded. I've been kind of doing some deep digging, trying to find a few programs that are actually funded, but the acceptance rates are very, very low.
Ridiculously low.
Yeah, otherwise you are definitely looking to pay for your PsyD degree about ranging around $100,000.
I think for those who don't know, myself included, what does PsyD mean?
So it's a psychology doctorate. So it's really specifically focusing on. So PsyD is more client facing, and a PhD is more research based.
Okay.
So that is really the main difference between the two.
Yeah.
Your other option is to have an MFT license, which is to get your master's in counseling and become a counselor.
Okay.
To getting your PsyD makes you a psychologist. So that is the difference between the two. And just to kind of go through, again, that cost is around $100,000 upper. It's about 129. So and we're looking at an average salary of PhD in the U.S. and I believe this is 2023 on ZipRecruiter. The average salary is about $59,773.
It's not sounding great.
So, for paying $100,000+ on a degree, you're coming out and making that $60,000. Granted, I think, of course, over the years, your salary will increase, which can be supplemented with research, teaching. I think that's why a lot of PhDs teach, because that's kind of a big source of income for them as well. But it is kind of on the lower end. That is part of my deciding factor as to why I want to go into a PsyD. Of course, I that's the kind of the trade-off. I'm going to have to pay for it, right? As opposed to PhD, it's a little bit less money. But for a PsyD, you're looking at an average salary of about $154,000. So it is a little bit more, compared to the average of a PhD, it's definitely a lot more, right?
Yeah, the ROI is there, so for sure.
Yeah, a little bit more, I feel like, right? A little bit more. But you got to have the upfront loan or money.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. You do get paid more, but then you're going to have to pay for your degree. So at the end of the day, it's kind of a toss-up.
You have to give it back. So.
Yeah, you either get a degree for free and then you get paid nothing, or you pay for a degree and then you get a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
So, no, it's really, you got to look far. You got to look long-term, to make that money. But really, and if you're talking about just marriage and family therapists, and I didn't even research, actually, I should have the average income for social workers, which I'm assuming is even less than a therapist, because for a MFT therapist, your average salary is about $88,000, and that's coming out after a master's degree, right? And getting that counselor's license. So that is, I think, a big part of what's preventing a lot of Asian Americans from pursuing that mental health route. Like, yes, it is healthcare, but if you go to become a doctor, then you're looking at an average salary of about $250,000, right? Starting. Yeah. Of course, you're paying a lot more for med school, but at the same time, your ROI is a little bit higher.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit higher, right? So I think that is a big factor. Aside from the stigma that we talk about and the cultural things, I think the pay is a huge gap as well. That's preventing a lot of us from going to therapy. And another fact that I do hear people talk about or people brought up was that some patients may prefer white therapists over therapists of color, which could be a thing. And I kind of doubted this. So I went in to do more research. And so the National Institute of Health in 2023 was breaking down the percentage by race of people that are seeking mental health services. And surprisingly, actually to me, Asians was 25% of that percentage. So we are a quarter of the people who are seeking help in mental health. And again, we are only 6% of the population. And just referring back to our last podcast, out of all mental health workers, we are 1 to 3%. So we need you. We need more, minorities in general, not just Asians. We need more minorities in the mental health services. And because in that same fact, out of 100%, you have 39% who are Black who are also looking for mental health services as well. So really, we can use as much as we can out there for minorities, definitely. So we're gonna have Shane share some facts of kind of like what resources are out there, because there are some resources that are out there right now by these bigger associations. I think there's like the association, the American Psychological Association, that has some programs in the works, and also Kaiser. So we'll have Shane share that with you guys.
Yeah, so like the first one we listed down is like the American Psychological Association, and like specifically the Minority Fellowship Program, and how there's like initiatives including like fellowships and student programs that like attract underrepresented students to the field, and then like there's more engagement and outreach efforts with like live Q&As and presentations on it, which are pretty good. And then like there's like other programs which like directly address mental health needs of minorities and other populations. So that's some like the main parts about the American Psychological Association. So I'm just like trying to get through all of this. And then like Kaiser has a lot of pretty good stuff too, with like partnering with institutions and providing more degrees for psychology and social work, and just helping more people like get scholarships and pursue that sort of like path. And then Kaiser employees, they also receive like tuition assistance, so that's pretty good for just helping like more Asians. And we were talking about how like the pay has been a problem, or not problem, but just something that like pushes people away from getting that sort of degree. But I think it's good that Kaiser provides more assistance with that. And yeah, overall just getting over that pay gap and helping more people want to do this pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's actually really cool where Kaiser provides their employees with like this tuition assistance, specifically in like mental health and like these mental health services, because like what we were talking about, it's a very expensive route to take to pay for these degrees. Very expensive. So it's amazing that they're doing that. And also, I think the American Psychological Association is I think they're who like accredits these doctorate degrees, right? The APA is who accredits these doctorate degrees. So I think it's great that there are programs that are coming from them specifically to assist people in getting these degrees. So if you are looking for a career in mental health, I would look into these programs. And I myself, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do more research and try to dig into some of these programs, see what can help me, because these might be programs that not a lot of people have heard of, because they're probably not advertised as much either. So it's good to know that there are companies out there that are doing, not companies, but associations that are doing things to help. But I want to kind of take it to us here, just kind of whatever's on our mind, to talk about really what do y'all think that we can do like in a society like today to help with getting more Asian Americans interested in the mental health field? And I will take, any kind of suggestions.
I feel like that's a pretty broad question.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it would start with, destigmatizing the field.
Okay.
But how do we even do that?
Yep.
Right? Like, how do we actually talk about mental health without someone like, oh my God, like, why are you talking about such a serious topic right now? I think maybe we can start with that, just like, introducing the conversation to like our parents, especially, being part of like an immigrant household, just talking about it and not having them be like, why are you talking about this? Like, you're a crazy person. Like, why are you talking about this? Like, this shouldn't affect you because you should be fine.
Yeah.
I think it just starts with honestly having the conversation, but not having that weird feeling that follows you while you're having the conversation.
Yeah, and I think that that it's one of those things where like practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect, right? So the more of these conversations we have, the less awkward they will get. I know that I have these conversations with my parents all the time now because I want them to be aware of the fact that mental health exists. It's still kind of awkward most of the time, but it's getting easier and easier for me to talk about it with them. And I think now they have a better understanding of why I'm going into the career that I'm going into. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think conversation is definitely a good place to start.
Yeah, no, it's like start small, like especially with us, like we can start at the individual level, and then there's the whole community outreach level, right, as well. Like we could be trying to, maybe we could set up a booth and be like, what do you guys think about mental health as a career? Or like, why aren't you pursuing mental health as a career in the first place, right?
Yep.
Like, is it the money, or is it, I mean,
Probably.
money is
Probably.
money's a big reason, but like,
Yes.
also like, what,
Yeah, and I ask those who are in the field, who are representing minorities, to really speak more out loud about what you do. We're not there yet, but once we are, we can also do the same. But I think we need to see more representation from the minorities, whether speaking on mental health or just having channels and having more social media or anything to kind of like speak on it more. And I think that will get our community to listen a little bit more as well, because I think representation truly matters.
I think speaking about it from a college level, I think, for example, like when I entered as a freshman, I was interested in clinical psych, but I didn't really know who to look up to. There was, like you said, there are barely any Asian like mental health workers. So for 3 years, I was kind of just like, la, la, la. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. And so I feel like just having clubs like this, for example, like CultivAsian, just having like a space like this where we can all gather and actually talk about things like this is a good step, because I don't know if there are any other clubs similar to us on campus.
Yeah.
So,
No, I actually agree with that. So great club.
Yeah, like not to call anyone
plug.
not to call anyone out, like, but for example, I remember applying for another clinical psych club, the only other club on campus, and I got rejected twice.
Dang.
So it's just accessibility.
You weren't
like,
cool
I
enough.
feel like the idea of just like not being, I think it's the inclusivity, like, you know, like it should be an open space. It shouldn't have to be a competitive thing, especially in the topic of mental health. Like, imagine how demeaning it is to get rejected and then not knowing what to do.
I got depressed after I got rejected from the mental health club.
No, the first time I got rejected, the reason is that I didn't have enough experience, and the second time is that I had too much experience.
Dang.
So I'm just like, not to call anyone out, but
yeah. That's horrible, actually. Dang. I think, Shane, anything?
I feel like, sorry, I'm like,
we can cut that out. I see.
no, but I feel like just acknowledgement is the most important thing, because I feel like, especially these days, a lot of people have their own problems, and they're like willing to talk about. Or I mean, not everyone, but I think a lot of people are willing to talk about, and they want to talk about it. And oh my God, I'm sorry, but just acknowledging it, and that'll cause people to like come to you maybe, and just want to talk about their own problems, and then hear about yours, just to figure out how to deal with things. And yeah, just conversations are pretty important. But and clubs like this too, just like outreaching to people and just like showing them stuff like this.
Yeah. And also, like, I don't know, I guess this is not necessarily really relating to the fact of getting people into mental health, but like, don't trauma dump on your friends.
yeah. Please stop, guys. Please stop.
It's one of those things. Like, it's great to have a friend that you can talk to like all the time, but like, don't trauma dump on them. Go find a therapist. And, you know, and if you can become a therapist yourself and get charged for that trauma dumping. But really though, like, I don't know how this came to mind, but you know, that a lot of people do that and you don't realize, like, you think that, oh, she's a great friend, she's going to listen to me. But like at the end of the day, like, it's a lot for somebody to take in.
No, it is for sure.
Right. Sorry, I went way off topic on that one, but it just came to mind, so I thought I'd bring it up.
That's funny because my friend and I were recently talking about what are the metrics for a good friendship. And I think up until recently, I thought the only way someone could be close with someone else is by how much they trauma dumped on that person. I was like, if you're not trauma dumping on me, then I'm just going to assume you don't actually feel like we have a connection.
Yeah.
So that's still something I'm constantly unlearning, but it's just funny that you brought that up.
I think the whole idea of trauma dumping is like you kind of go to your friend because they're going to have this like inherent bias.
Yeah, they're going to agree with you.
They're going to say like, oh, you're right. Like, I'm so sorry you went through all this. But like,
he was such a dick.
But he wasn't.
Talk to him anymore.
But I think like a lot of people are scared of the idea of mental health and like somebody that's telling you like, no, you're wrong. Like you've completely like taken this narrative and completely swayed this perspective. Like a lot of people, like a lot of your friends won't be able to say that.
Yeah, that's true. No, I love that. You know, it's an open conversation, so we can talk about getting people into mental health, but also why you should go to therapy, because going to therapy is very important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But so I think really, if there's anything you guys want to add to this, I will. Please do.
I mean, I think we all touched on it. I think getting into programs, if you're interested, even the slightest, like I didn't even know if I wanted to do this, but I saw it and I was like, it piqued my interest in the slightest. And now that I'm here, I'm so grateful that I'm here. Like outputting this message, like getting it into people's heads. Like we don't want to talk about it, but the second you do, it's like, it's all you want to talk about, you know?
Yeah. Where did I even see this club? I saw it. You know where I saw the information? It wasn't even at Club Fair. It was on. No, it was on the.
Not in a bathroom.
Not in a bathroom.
Taking a piss?
No. Not when I was peeing. I saw it on the. It was the Psychology Digest or Psychology Major Digest or something like that.
Like the undergrad psychology something.
Yes,
email?
That email, and it has
gosh.
something about like CultivAsian is recruiting members, and I was like, "What's that?"
No, I saw it at the career fair. I like
you
briefly saw it. I literally like took a picture and I was like, hey guys, I don't have time to be listening to your spiel. I gotta go. Like I got 5 minutes left of career fair, but let me just check it out.
That's so funny. Yeah. And then I applied it. I just showed up to the meeting. So honestly, guys, like if you want to do something, just do it. Like to your thing about I think you brought up Mel Robbins on the last episode, like just count to 5 and do it instead of, keep thinking about it.
Yeah, no, like a lot of people, like there's a lot of stuff like you're going to regret. You're going to be like, oh, I wish I did that. I wish I did that. Just do it.
Yep. That's why Nike's so big,
Yeah.
Just do it.
Absolutely.
Sponsor us.
Wait, I feel like another reason people also don't really go into this field is we see clinical psychologists or therapists, and it's usually like white old people. So we kind of can't really relate to them. So
Representation.
if we can't see ourselves in them, then we don't really know where to start.
Yeah.
So I feel like we should start with creating a path for others to like, for example, like the pre-med field, it's so vast and like a lot of Asian people are pre-med.
Yeah.
So as long as they have some person that's similar to them that they can look up to, they literally just like follow that path. But I feel like for us, there is no path. So our generation is kind of the ones forging that path.
Right.
So I think it's more so about, like you said, the conversation about how are we even going to start forging that path?
Yeah.
Because there is no path to follow, honestly, right now.
Yeah, so I guess we'll, wait 20 years and I'll be an old Asian man and you can follow my path.
Yep, exactly. Maybe you can show this to like your grandkids or something.
Right.
I don't know.
No, but you're actually right. I think that's a good point to bring up because, it really comes back to the point that you're needed. Like really, minorities are needed in the mental health field because there are people that are looking for help that don't have people that understand them. I think that's so important. That you really want to have somebody who truly understands you in your past and where you come from for them to give you the best form of therapy. I've had different therapists that are different races, and some of them I truly can't relate to. After they're treating me like a lab rat. They're like, okay, I'm gonna do this kind of what do you call those, like a CBT, right? So what's it
Cognitive
behavior therapy? Yeah,
yes.
like they'll do like certain kind of therapy on me,
Yes.
and I just felt like I was just some generic person that they were trying to.
They didn't really see you.
Yeah, it wasn't like, and I was trying to explain to them my background, and just they weren't understanding, and it was very frustrating. So yes, so we need you. We need more minorities in the field. So come and be a therapist.
I feel like it's about making space for us up there, wherever up there is.
Yes,
But
yes, and we'll get up there, and we'll make space for others. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, and we'll wrap up the Unwrapping the Dumplings. I love this name. So, well, thank you all very much. Thank you, Jocelyn, Shane, and Brian over here. My name is Tim, and this is our Unwrapping the Dumplings. All right. Bye-bye.
bye.